God. Okay, we're gonna try this again because the first two times, every time I tried to share this damn link, um, it didn't work. Oh boy. Okay. Oh my gosh. All right, so we are back. All right, so hey, I'm back for the third time. Okay, I was trying to do this, um, and I was trying to share the link that I was going live so I could put it on Instagram and TikTok and have more people come and join. But for whatever reason, every time I went to share the link, it kept kicking me off, and it wouldn't let me do it. So yeah, interesting. But yeah, so what I did now is I actually set up my iPad down below with my live stream up so I can actually respond to comments and I can actually see things a lot easier now instead of using it on the phone, which is kind of a pain in the ass. Show you complete body distance. I don't know what that even means. How's the audio? I'm using a microphone this time, so does the audio sound a lot better than before? All right. Oh man, how's everyone doing tonight? It's been a long day today. A lot of stuff. Got some new videos posted. Um, put a new video up today. Had one up yesterday too. Hey, what if your plan doesn't work out? So if you're thinking about joining the military, even if you're not, go check out the video. It gives you some good tips and things that will help you out just in the long run when it comes to the military, future plans, setting yourself up for success, and things like that. So if you're interested in that, or you know someone that might be, do yourself a favor and go ahead and share that with somebody because I know a lot of people they wait till last minute to consider joining the military, and by the time they wait, it's too late. Now they've missed the mark, they're disqualified or something. So yeah, go ahead and check out that video and let me know what you guys think. But yeah, so I've been going live on TikTok for the last few days. I've been going live on there typically because TikTok's a little bit easier to go live on, and the way it's set up is a little bit easier on YouTube. It's a little bit more restrictive. So hopefully this is working out too good. I'm doing good. Doing good. Still in Virginia. Still got some classes, until the end of next week. So I got one more week while I'm out here until I head back to California, which would be nice to get back home, see the family, and kind of get back to normal. Because right now, this is a temporary thing that I'm doing. I'm at a school, so until the school's over, I'm here. Yeah, I try to have some sort of lights. I got a tube light, and I have a little box light about this big that I use just to not have it so dull, and have a light right above me, like a key light that I usually use when I'm at home and I'm in the garage and I'm filming my actual videos that you've seen in the past. Yeah, that's my garage, just in case you didn't know. I got a light and some stuff set up in there too. But now that I have an actual desk in this hotel room, it's a little bit easier to have a vibe, right? And have something that's a little bit nicer than just the lamps and the actual lights that are in here. So, but yeah, if you guys got questions or whatnot, as always, just drop them down below. I just hop on here every once in a while, and just talk to kind of see what people are up to. And I know a lot of people message me and asking questions or whatnot, and I can't always get back to them. So things like this, it's a little bit easier to kind of communicate in a group. And I don't think on YouTube, and if I'm mistaken, let me know. I don't think I can bring someone on here to answer questions live. I know on TikTok I can do that, but I'm not sure if you can do that on YouTube. So if you know that, and if I can do that, let me know, and I'll bring you on if you have a question or something you want to ask to the group, or ask me that I can answer for the group. Let's see, where's the volume on this thing? There we go. Put your hand on the camera and for a Lamar edit, like I said. I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating. Oh man. All right. If you know where to, let me know. So let's see, how do I do this? The plus, start a poll, start a Q&A. Got some settings, no. Pen to live stream shopping, nope, got none of that. So definitely, who's a Scientologist? I'm not Tom Cruise. What are you talking about? No, I don't dance. And if I ever do dance, I'm definitely not gonna dance on a YouTube live stream. That's for sure. All right. How high of a rank can you reach maximum in your first 4 year contract? It depends because you could get meritorious promoted, right? You can do, you know, you can become an NCO. I'd say probably the highest rank is a sergeant, and that's if you're like really kicking ass and you're doing well. I picked up sergeant my first 4 years in the Marine Corps, but that was years ago, and since then the promotion range has changed because the Marine Corps doesn't want super young NCOs, and what I mean is you don't want to take somebody and promote them super fast and put them in a leadership position and then suddenly they don't really know what they're doing, right? So the Marine Corps is trying to change it up to where they're promoting at a not a slower pace but on an average pace. But for you, you can expect to get sergeant at the highest. You're not picking up staff in your first 4 years. There's just no way. Sergeant the highest, but realistically probably corporal, so E4 E5 depending on your branch. Am I natty? For sure. Absolutely. Bro, I used to be 25 pounds heavier than I am right now. I used to be like 230 pounds, 225, 230, and now I'm like 205, 210. I've lost a lot of weight. Yeah. So, can you grab the camera for a Lamar Jackson edit? I didn't even know what that was, honestly, until I saw that on Dude Perfect today. I saw them do that, and I was like, What is this?" And it was actually pretty good, but I don't have a B-roll video to put in for you guys. So good stuff, bro. You inspire me to join the Marines. Hey, man, I appreciate that, dude. I really do. I always love hearing from people that I had a chance to like have an impact on. So I really appreciate that, man. Thanks for the $2. I'll use that to buy myself a Red Bull tomorrow during class. But no, for real though, man. When people are like, you inspired me. That's why I do this. That's why I get on live. That's why I make these videos. That's why I do what I do because I want to make a difference and I want to help somebody get to where they want to be. Because when I was growing up in the Marine Corps, this wasn't a thing. I didn't have, there wasn't YouTube, there wasn't social media. Like these things didn't exist to find these answers. And now everything's so accessible that you can find answers everywhere. So, man, you're very welcome. What are some good weight loss tips? I'm currently at 200 and want to get below 185. So, I mean, you have to have a you got to find out what your BMR is, right? Your basal metabolic rate. Okay, so for everyone, that's going to be it's going to be different. That's the amount of calories that you're going to burn every single day just by being alive. So everyone's different. From there, you have to eat 500 calories less than your BMR, right? Because that's a good start. 500 is a good deficit. People go 1,000, they go extreme. But if you're trying to lose weight the right way, start with 500. So let's just use simple numbers. If 2,000 calories is your BMR, which is what you need to survive per day, like to maintain where you are, eat 1,500, which is 500 less, and that's going to allow you to start losing weight at the appropriate way. Okay, if you do more than that, you might lose weight faster. But what happens is people they get sick, they start feeling lethargic, fatigued, um, and they're more likely to gain it back faster than if they just cut 2.5 pounds per week. That's a pretty good cut that people can do. But that's what I recommend. Cut out sugars, and then watch when you eat. So like right now for me, it's my watch is dead. Okay, what time is it? It's 8:30 p.m. Right. So right now I wouldn't want to eat a big meal. I wouldn't want to eat like pasta and like heavy carbs and stuff right now because if I go to bed soon, all that's going to turn into fat. While I go to sleep, I'm going to gain weight. You want to eat that in the morning and for lunchtime. Around dinner time, you just want to watch what you eat when you eat it, if that makes sense. But yeah, cut out sugar. Caffeine's not bad, right? People like cut out energy drinks. If that's you, do the sugar-free ones, but just start eating 500 calories less, and you'll be all right. Work out, eat protein. Yeah. I mean, pretty simple. Don't eat sugars. Yep. I'm in the process, see if I can join the Marines. Just waiting to see if my waivers get cleared. What'd you get waivers for? That's a big one. I mean, the BUMED process, it's not bad. I like the process because it allows doctors and like professionals to evaluate you. But take that with a grain of salt. And it really depends on what the waivers are for, if they're going to get approved or not. But typically, I made a video a couple days ago. The Marine Corps has the highest waiver approval out of all branches. So if you're trying to get like a medical waiver approved, the Marine Corps is your best shot. Moral and like crazy stuff, no way. The Marine Corps is your least shot. Army, Navy are going to be the ones who are going to entertain hand tattoos, moral issues, felonies, and stuff like that. The Marine Corps is not going to do that. What's the fastest way to gain a lot of muscle? Take steroids. That's the fastest way. Is it legal? No, but that's the fastest. If you want to do it the right way, eat, man. You got to eat. And I say that because I was skinny once upon a time. I'm smaller now than I was, a few months ago or a few years ago. But when I first joined the Marine Corps and I was in high school, I was the same height. I'm 6'4", and I weighed like 165 pounds. I was like, where's my Apple Pencil? I was like this, man. I was skinny, not an ounce of muscle on me. And when I deployed to Afghanistan back in 2010, I started working out with one of my NCOs. He was a corporal, and he was a big dude. He was super strong, and I was like, I want to be like this guy. Long story short, man, I had to force myself to eat every single day. I'd eat. I'm like, man, I'm full. He goes, eat more. I'm drinking protein shakes. I'm eating MREs. I'm just eating anything I get my hands on. And then I started feeling like I was uncomfortable, right? Because I'm like, I'm eating. I'm forcing myself to eat. But over time, I got used to it, and I started gaining weight, and I was working out at the same time. So eating a caloric, increase plus working out, I went from I think it was like 170. I went from 170 to 235 pounds in 9 months when I was deployed. And then when I got home, right after you deploy, you go home. They put you on like 15, 20 days of leave. I flew home from California, right, back to Georgia, and I landed in Atlanta airport. When I got home, my parents were there, right? Mom, dad, family. They had a big sign up, welcome home. They did not recognize me at all. Like I legit walked up to my parents, looked them in the eyes, right? They had no idea it was me. Walked past them. And I turned around, I was like, there's no way they don't recognize me. And my dad had a camera in his hand. And I walked up behind him, I acted like I was gonna steal the camera. And he turned around and I was like, hey dad. And they're like, oh my God, we didn't recognize you, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, eating a ton, working out, you're going to gain the weight 100%. And I say that from someone that has been there because people are like, oh, I can't gain weight. I'm too skinny, this and that. And I've been there, done that. All right. I literally am living proof that it's possible. And then throughout my time in the Marines, I got all the way up to 250 pounds when I was playing football. And then that was just not manageable. That was tough. And then I went back down to like 225 where I stayed for years. Then on recruiting, just working out inconsistently, I kind of got down to like 210, which is about where I'm at now. So, but yeah, hopefully that helps. Hopefully that kind of puts things into perspective for you for a little bit. Let's see. How, let's see. Yo, some of you guys got some weird comments right now. I'm in the process of joining the army. Okay, good luck. Hope it works out for you. I really do. Let's see. How do I lose weight just by working out because I go to Mexico in 2 days? Well, if you're in Mexico, just drink some tap water. You'll probably lose You try to lose weight pretty quick there. But no, I mean just by working out, I mean, burn more calories than you consume. Straight up. If you do a workout, right, and you burn 500 calories, okay, well, guess what? Don't eat as many calories. You're gonna lose. It's real simple, and I know it's like elementary, but here's my calorie level right here. I eat less, I lose weight. I eat more, I gain weight. If I eat the same, if I need 1,000 calories a day, I eat 1,000 calories a day. I'm here. I'm not increasing anything. I eat more, I increase. I eat less, I decrease. So watch what you eat, how you eat, and whatnot. It's really that simple. I know it sounds like stupid. People are like, oh, it's too easy. It's stupid. And I'm like, it's true. It really is. So, oh no, where'd this go? Let's see. I'm a Marine, brat. Dad did 21 years in the Marines. Yeah. That's probably gonna be me. I'm probably do 20 plus years in the Marine Corps, and I got some kids, and we'll see what happens with that. Let's see. What is the quote of the day? I don't know. I didn't even think about that today. Let's see. I'll get back to you because you put me on the spot. I don't know, but let me turn this light down. This thing's bright as hell. That's a good one. I'll think about it and I'll let you know. Let's see. Taylor, how do I tell my parents I'm going to join the Marine Corps? All right, here's what you do. You get off YouTube Live and you go say, hey, mom and dad, I'm joining the Marine Corps. Or you can do what I did, right? I just went and did it. I just went and talked to the recruiter, right? I was at work, met a recruiter, went to their office later on because I didn't want to join at first. It just ended up happening over time. And I talked to the recruiter, liked what he had to say. He sold me, which wasn't a bad thing. And I just went home and said, "Hey, mom, I'm joining the Marine Corps." And she says, "No, the fuck, you're not." And I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Okay, right." Not the answer I was looking for. And I just said I want to do it. I was 17, so I had to have parental consent, which means my parents had to sign for me to be able to enlist. My mom didn't want to do it, which most parents, they're reluctant, right? Because this is back in 2008 when the war in Iraq and Afghanistan was going on, so it was a different time. And I was like, "This is what I want to do." And long story short, after some back and forth and really deciding that this is what I wanted to do, and my recruiter talking to my mom and answering her questions because she had a bunch. She had a bunch of questions, and rightfully so. She decided to sign my parental consent papers, and my mom was the biggest objector, like 100%. She did not want me to do this at all. My dad was cool with it. He was like, "Hey, this is good for you. Go do it. You'll be fine." Mom was 100% against it, and ended up, you know, allowing me to enlist, which I would have done anyways when I was 18. But it's funny is because now my mom is my biggest supporter. She's the biggest supporter ever. Like when I was deployed, I'm not playing. Like I was in Afghanistan, I think for 9 months. My mom sent me no bullshit, like 60 of those large UPS or yeah, no USPS flat rate boxes. Remember the ones if it fits it ships? Like 60 of those with just anything. Hey, what do you need? I was like, we need some ramen noodles, we need some this and that. Sent everything, and it was amazing. So I would just talk to your parents and just be like, "Hey, look, this is what I want to do," and let them know why. Like, why do you want to be a Marine? You can't say, "Oh, it looks cool." Like, man, a lot of things look cool, and then you do it, and you're like, "That's not really that cool." So if you want to be a Marine, then talk to mom and dad, right? Include your parents, your influencers, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, in the conversation, so they know why. Because a lot of people just make like knee-jerk reactions just because. And when people say that, they're like, they don't get supported. But when you have a reason, right, and some facts, and you tell your parents, they're more likely to support you. And if they don't, I met people and I'm just gonna do it when I'm 18. You can do that, but it's a lot easier to have the support of your parents before you do something like that. So that's what I would recommend, and hopefully that works out for you. So let's see. They tell me all the time not to join. My parents told me not to join too. Like I've heard it all the time, and as a recruiter, I hear that every day. But you know what's crazy though is, and this is true, the parents who are the biggest objectors who say don't join, don't do it. They're the ones who become the biggest supporters when they see the transformation that their kid goes through. When they see like, hey, my kid was a little asshole, he was a little troublemaker or whatever, and then they go through the transformation of becoming a Marine and they come out the other side, the parents are like, who is this kid? I don't recognize them. They're 100% different in a good way. And they're now a believer. They're like, man, this is great. I love the Marine Corps. Look what they've done to my son, my daughter. And they're the ones who can't stop talking about their kids being in the Marines. And I love it, right? It's a great full circle. So I could probably, safely assume that your parents would be the same way. Let's see. Let's see. What else we got? My, what do I do? I'm a recruiter, man. So I'm a military. I'm a not military. Jesus, I'm a career Marine recruiter. So I used to do communications in the Marine Corps, and then I just lat moved, which means I changed jobs. about a month ago into the career recruiter job in the Marine Corps. So this is what I'm doing until I get out of the Marine Corps, whenever that might be in the next, at least 4 years. Because I'm going to re-enlist soon. I want to stay in, do at least 4 more years, which would take me out to 21 years, man. If you believe it, I'll be at 21 years in the next 4 years, and at that point, I'm eligible to retire, get out, and go do something else. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Does the Marine Corps enforce pink and purple? Absolutely. They love it. They say it's a vibe. Hey, hey, it's better. I'll be honest, man. It's better than having this light is better than just having some white, you know, basic, you know, light back there. It looks like a dentist office, fluorescent and whatnot. So absolutely, I love having lights in the background because it's better than staring at some, regular white light. Let's see. Don't drink the water at Lejeune. Yeah, man, do yourself a favor, get some bottled water. Yeah, yeah. That's the Lejeune water is tasty. I'll tell you that. Recruiter in a white van at tinted windows. White van, yes. Tinted windows, no. I wish you could put tint on government vehicles. If we could, God, it'd be so much better. But we're fishbowling in those cars and vans, and where I'm at, it gets like 110, 115 degrees in the summertime, and it's hot as hell. It's so damn hot being out there. So I wish we could put on some window tint, but no, we can't. I should put free candy on the side though, right? What do I think about Greenside Corpsmen? I love Corpsmen, man. Corpsmen are great because they work with Marines. They act like Marines, and then when we do dumb stuff and we get hurt, the corpsmen are there to support us, man. Every time I've had a corpsman in the field or on any training event or when I was a combat instructor, corpsmen were just super chill. Like they'd always have snacks, they'd always hook us up, and they were just cool dudes that we'd hook up to. So it was like a win-win. If we ever needed anything, right, they were there just to support. So I love corpsmen, man. If you're thinking about being a corpsman in the Navy, go for it. Corpsmen are awesome. I was gonna play video games, but now I want to keep watching the stream. I wish I had my PlayStation here. I'd hop on Call of Duty, which I haven't done in a long time. I have a TV right here. It'd be the perfect time to play Call of Duty and hop on there. But yeah, I can't. But you should though. Have the stream up here, and then play games on the side and just listen, and then chime in if you like. So, how do I get my cowlick to stay down? It's the way I get my haircut. I haven't cut it to where it cuts it to where it's not too short, but to where it's manageable. So, is it possible for privates or PFCs to be deployed to combat? Yes, any Marine can be deployed to combat, whether you're officer enlisted in E1, in E9, in O1, in O9. So yeah, there's no like rank that prevents you from being deployed. So yeah, you can be in combat. But here's the thing: deploying overseas and being in combat are two different things. A lot of people get those things mixed up. Like if I deploy, I'm automatically in combat, and that's just not true at all. But yeah, there's not a rank restriction on deploying to combat overseas or anywhere. Your dad did the same thing. Tried to join at 17. I joined at 17. Yeah. You're saying cow lick like the animal. It's calic. I think that's what you're trying to say. Calic. It's the little piece of the back of your hair, the little spiral piece that people have, the way their hair grows. A lot of times it'll stick up on dudes. So, what was your experience with recruiters? I'm thinking about listening soon. So, my experience that I personally had in 2007 when I first talked to a recruiter was terrible because that recruiter was a dirtbag. But me being a recruiter in hindsight now, man, recruiting it's what you make of it. I love being a recruiter because I get a chance to change lives all the time, right? You get to change someone's life. I met people that were homeless, people that had nothing, and they're Marines now, just having the best of times. They're just so successful and just did a complete 180. So I would say talk to recruiters, man. Talk to the Marines, of course, right? But if you want, talk to other branches, man, and just see what they can do and take what they say with a grain of salt. When I tell people too, right? Because a lot of people will say, just listen to what I say and just don't fact check me. I'm like, look, man, whatever I say, fact check it. Go online, and if you don't believe what I'm saying, that's okay, right? You should, but if you don't, grab your phone, right? I'm using my phone, but right, this is not a phone, but go on your phone, go on Google, look up whatever the person's telling you and verify. And if it's true, great. And if it's not true, right? Because some recruiters will they'll try to be sneaky. Ask them, hey, you said this, but this says something different. What's going on? Some branches will do that. I'm not going to name names, but I have seen it in the past. But yeah, just verify what people are saying. I'd say 99% of recruiters have good intentions. They really do. There's that like small 1% that just do it for the wrong reasons. But yeah, I would definitely, talk to a recruiter, get the facts. And it's so funny that you say that because I posted a video today talking about people having plans and not talking to recruiters, and then their plans not working out. And then later on, trying to backtrack, talk to a recruiter, but now they're like, I'm disqualified. Now I can't do it, and blah, blah, blah. Like my plan B and C and D didn't work out after my plan A, and now I have no plan at all. So before that becomes you potentially, not you, but before that could happen, talk to a recruiter. See if you're even qualified. See if it's a good fit because the military is not a good fit for everyone. Please, I know that just as much as anyone else. Um, but at least talk and see if they can help you out. That's my probably biggest takeaway. So let's see. My head is so small than my body. It's just the way that the camera is. I have a proportionate head, but thank you for that. Appreciate that. 11B Paratrooper Army. We got some infantry guys in here. Okay, subscribe. Appreciate that. Just went for a 6 mile run. Nice. It here there was a severe thunderstorm out of nowhere. It was sunny, and then all of a sudden, 80-mile-an-hour winds came. A huge thunderstorm came, knocked out the power in a hotel, which I've never seen, and then it just went away. Weather's been absolutely crazy today. Didn't even get a chance to go for a run, unfortunately. So can I still join the Marines if I have one eye? Nah, you're gonna be permanently disqualified, unfortunately. Good evening, happy Thursday. Okay, hey, it's Juneteenth. It's a happy Thursday. We got out of class early today. It's a good day. I got no complaints. I appreciate that. Actually, you know what? Wait, it's Thursday. That means in the fleet, Marines are doing field day right now, which is not a word I have heard or said in a long time. So if you're in the fleet right now and you're watching this, are you guys doing field day right now? Let me know. Are you gonna go to ranger school next year? Hell yeah, good luck. Train, man. Ruck, train, put yourself through some shit now so that when you get there, it's easier. Don't let that be the time you decide to like start getting ready. Like prepare yourself now. Trust me. Any like special operations, any ranger school, any like infantry hard stuff like that. I'm sure the guys in the chat will tell you the same thing. Get used to putting miles on your feet, put a rucksack on your back with some weight and just move, just run, stay fit and stay active for sure. What was my experience with recruiters and leaving a list? Like I said, man, enlist. Go talk to the recruiters, man. Go talk to the recruiters and see what they have to say and see if what they're telling you aligns with what it is you're trying to do in life or in the military. That's like the biggest takeaway I can give people because you can't make a decision on something you don't know anything about. And that's why I tell people, I'm like, hey, man, what do you know about the military? And most people are like, nothing. And I'm like, I know. So go talk to someone who does know, which is a recruiter. And if you like what they say, then go for it. And if you don't, then talk to someone else. But weigh your options, though, for sure. Do that. And then, weigh your future plans. Like, what are you trying to get out of it? Right? What's your goal? Is it school? Is it skills? Is it traveling? Is it a combination? Right? And if that can be fulfilled, then do it. And if it can't, then, try something else. It's nothing wrong with that. Let's see. I want to be a rifleman, but the Marines have O3XX contracts. Is it possible to get an O311 contract? So in the Marines, if you want a specific contract, like I want O311, like period, you have to go reserves only because in the reserves, we can guarantee you a full MOS, right? So when looking at MOS, your first two designators, like the O3 is the MOS, and the last two are the designator, like O311, O313, O321, 31, 41, etc. So if you go reserves, you can get a guaranteed specific full MOS. If you go active duty, you could go O3 contract, right? But you're not guaranteed an O311. But what I will tell you is that O311 is like your average regular rifleman. If you want that, they're most likely going to give that to you. Now, if you want to like mortarman or something, you have to have higher scores, right? They usually want guys who are better at math to go mortarman because there's a lot of like math involved, right? Believe it, grunts are really smart. Um, but if you're like, I just want to be a regular O311, there's a great chance that they'll say, great, you're going to be an O311, right? It's just when you want something more complicated, that they kind of like stack you against everyone else to see who's the best qualified. So you shouldn't have an issue getting 0311 on active duty if that's what you want. Just from the experience I've seen and the guys I've enlisted, which we've enlisted a ton of guys that have gone 03, XX. Most are 0311s because that's what they wanted. We had some machine gunners and some tow gunners and mortarmen and stuff, but they specifically asked for that, and that's what they got. So hopefully that helps and answers your question. What's my plans when I retire? I don't know. I thought about that a lot. I really don't know. I would love to do something with, social media that pays the bills and, that allows me to still do stuff like this for the long term. Is it possible? For sure, but it takes a lot of commitment to make that happen. But I think, realistically, I'd love to get into photography and, do something with photography, videography, something that I can make my own schedule and I can work my own hours. I don't want to get out of the military after doing more than 20 years and go work at an office or like go work somewhere where I have to go every single day. I want to be able to like work from home or travel or just do what I want to do. Not have to like work a 9 to 5. So that's my plan. But we'll see when that happens. It's at least 4 years from now for sure. So at least I got 4 more years to figure that out. But we'll see. We'll see. Why am I in a hotel? Because I'm at a school right now. I'm at the career recruiter course because I did a lat move into 8412 career recruiter. So the course is in Virginia, and I'm staying in a hotel for 3 weeks. That's why I'm in a hotel room. But it's not bad though. It's actually a super nice room. What's life like enlisted versus officer? Um, in terms of what, right? Because it's I can answer that like very broadly, or we can kind of like niche it down. So ask that again and ask me what specifically you're looking for. Because if you're talking about like jobs, officers have more of an office job, right? They're in charge of everybody and everything, and they do more office work. They're working. They're kind of like controlling everyone as a group. And then on the enlisted side, those are the ones who are doing the actual work like day in and day out. For instance, when I was in communications, I was in satellite communications. I was in 0627 once upon a time. The enlisted were the ones who were setting up the equipment. They're the ones who were testing the equipment. They're the ones who were physically doing the job of that MOS. And then the officers were the ones who were advising. They were in charge of everything, but they weren't the ones out there physically setting up the equipment, physically operating the equipment and whatnot. They were the ones who were working on planning and working on other entities. So if you're considering going like officer versus enlisted, it depends on the type of lifestyle you want. If you're cool with like working in an office setting more often, and you're okay with doing more like computer-based work, the officer route might be better. They all don't do that, but the majority do because their job isn't to go get their hands dirty. I don't mean that in a bad way, but their job isn't to go set the stuff up and do the thing. They're in charge of like personnel and equipment and everyone as a whole. So but if you have a more specific question, ask me and I'll try to answer it for you too. Let's see. GTA 6, dude. Well, man, SpaceX had a rocket that blew up. We might be going to war with Iran. Um, all these protests going on across the country and whatnot has all happening before GTA 6. Like this game's been coming out for like 5 years, and like all of these things are happening before GTA 6. Like, oh my god, it's crazy. Like, yes, yeah, I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't think it's ever gonna come out. I think they're gonna keep delaying it and delaying it and delaying it. I know it's been delayed like 5 times already. I doubt it's even gonna come out next year when they're talking about it. I would be very surprised. And if it does, right, they're talking about it being like $99 for like the basic and then like 149 for like the deluxe set. And I'm like, dude, I remember when video games were like 39.99. Then they were 49.99 for the longest time. Then they went to 59.99, and now I think they're at like 69.99, which is crazy. And I'm like, damn, dude, I just want to play Call of Duty. Give me Call of Duty, a headset, let me talk some shit, let's play, and let's go. I don't want to spend $150 on a game, or better yet, when you got to pay 150 just to download it. You don't even get a physical copy anymore. It's just a download. And then if you go to sell your console, you don't keep the game, right? That's insane. That's crazy, man. Have you ever thought about becoming an officer? You know what? I did, yeah. I thought about becoming an officer like 3 times in my career. The first time when I really wanted to do it was when I was a lance corporal. I really wanted to be an officer, but then you had to be an NCO at a minimum, and I wasn't an NCO. I was an E3, and then by the time I picked up corporal the following year, by that time I deployed, I'd come back, and like my mindset had shifted, and I wasn't as motivated to do it anymore. And then when I was a sergeant, I thought about it again, and then I was like interested, but I wasn't like fully committed. It was more of like a thought. And then when I was a staff sergeant, I really considered it again. I was like, okay, great, I really want to do this. And then at that point, I sat down and I talked to some officers, and I got some like really good like information, and I realized like, okay, I don't want to be stuck behind an office or stuck in an office and behind a computer, which is so ironic because as a recruiter, I'm behind a computer and I'm in an office like 90% of the time. So it's kind of funny how things work out. But yeah, I really did want to be in office. I really wanted to be an officer. I was really, into it for a while. But then, over time, your mindset changes, priorities change. I got married, I had children, and then if I was an officer like today, for instance, right, just right for today, I owe 10 years as an officer to be able to retire as an officer. So right now I'm at 17 years. Well, next month I'll be at 17 years, right? I'd have to serve to 27 years to retire as an officer. If I retired before then, I would retire at my highest enlisted rank, which would be an E8, which is crazy. So it wasn't worth the transition for me. And then having a family and having to start all over again, I was like, yeah, it's just not, something that I want to do. But it's crazy because I always wondered, like, if I was when I was younger, if it would have worked out, where would I be now? How would things have changed? Who knows? But you should bet on July 7th. That's next week, man. What? No, that's a few weeks from now. So I have what, like 3 weeks from now? Yeah, right around the corner. Have fun before you go. Have fun before you go, because when you get to boot camp, it's on. And actually, it's funny because I was gonna make a video today. I didn't, but I'm gonna make a video in the next probably day or two over the weekend, but for sure. I'm gonna break down boot camp, week by week, and say week one, this is what you can expect. Week two, three, four, kind of hit the big ticket items off the recruit training matrix, which is the big, sheet you may have seen in your recruiter's office that shows week by week of boot camp. I'm gonna break that down and go over what you can expect at boot camp. So before you leave, I'll have a post before you leave. Make sure you check it out and let me know what you think. Let's see. Do you think I'll meet you in the fleet? Probably not, because I'm not going back to the fleet ever. I'm going to stay on recruiting duty until I get out of the Marine Corps. So I'm never going back to the Fleet Marine Force. But I am in Southern California, and I do go on Pendleton and Miramar sometimes. So we might run into each other on one of those bases at some point. Took my practice ASVAB today. Will I need documents for a couple stitches I got from a cut at 10 years old? Probably not. As long as it was nothing crazy and you didn't like, you know, if it was a couple like stitches for something minor, you should be fine. If it was major and you had like an operation or surgery or something, they're probably gonna want it. But if you like split open your wrist or hand and they put a couple stitches and it healed on its own, you should be totally fine. Who are the people you think are not cut out for the military? Great question. I'd say lazy people. I think lazy people aren't cut out for the military. And I say that because it's very demanding, no matter what branch you're in or what job you're doing. And it's very structured. And people who don't like authority and people who are lazy, they tend to not do well. And I've seen lazy people in the military, right? And I've seen people who don't like authority in the military too. And they have a really, really, really hard time. And they're the ones who typically get in trouble and then they get kicked out and then they're like, "Oh, the military screwed me, blah, 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 blah." And it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. No, they didn't. You chose to mess up, not follow the rules, do something stupid. You got kicked out. It's not their fault. It's your fault. So I'd say generally people like that. But again, I mean, I've also met lazy people who were successful Marines too. So it's weird, but that's just my 2 cents. That's just a personal opinion. I'm not saying that is the answer, but that's just an answer. So 0631 network. Yep. Those used to be 0659 or 0651s data marines, and then they split them into network and hardware. Yeah, that's funny. That's what I wanted to do. Well, not 31 because it didn't exist, but I wanted to be a data marine when I first enlisted because I liked computer technology and whatnot. And they didn't have it. So the next best thing was SATCOM, which was cool, but I really wanted to be a networker because you guys get some awesome certifications, some great skills that you can get out. And most Marines I know that get out after 4 years working in communications and networking, they get out and make $150,000 a year. You're 22 years old making $150,000, which is more than most people make a year, especially your parents and whatnot. So definitely get those Cisco certs, definitely get those certs. And, if you stay in though, the Marine Corps will give you a fat bonus though. One of my guys I worked with when I first came on recruiting, he was a networker and he was a staff sergeant, picked up gunny. He got 5 bonuses throughout his time in the Marine Corps. 60,000, 70,000, 80,000, 70,000. The guy made freaking $200,000 worth of bonuses. And he goes, why would I get out? I'm just going to stay in the Marine Corps, keep getting these bonuses. I'll retire at 20, and then I'll go make big bucks afterwards. So, yeah. Thomas, you got, if you take that job seriously, man, you got a great future in that job for sure. Best MCT instructor ever, golf company? Hell yeah, I miss golf. Man, I do miss being a combat instructor. Man, that was so much fun. I had such a good time, such a fun time. And it wasn't always fun. There were some shitty times, but I had a great time being a combat instructor, man. It was awesome. I got to train Marines. We got to do a lot of cool infantry stuff. That was some of the best times of my Marine Corps career was being an 0913 combat instructor. Golf company, yep. Third platoon, let's go. That was good times, man. I missed that. Oh, damn, it's got spammed in the chat. Damn. Let's see. I'm afraid they're gonna be a machine gunner for infantry. I'm only 5'7". No way. They give a machine gunner to the big dudes. The guys who are like, I enlisted a guy to my office. He was like 6 foot, 220. Dude he looked like a bodybuilder, stacked. This dude was a Jack Diesel man. He's a machine gunner. He's like, I want to be a machine gunner. They're like, hell yeah, we want you to be a machine gunner. It worked out well. They're not gonna put a small, tiny guy as a machine gunner. So if you're small, don't worry about it. They're not gonna do that to you. They will be doing themselves a disservice if they did that. So don't worry about it. How to grow calves? I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out for 20 years. I couldn't tell you. I'm the wrong person to add, but calves are definitely genetic. So you either got them or you don't. I know guys who never work out a day in their life. They got fat calves. I know dudes that train calves 3, 4, 5 times a week, and they're not going anywhere. So yeah, I'm not the guy to ask though, because I got small calves too. Love the content, man. I think about joining the military officer and I want to make it a career. What do you think the best branches for that? It depends on what you want to do as an officer. I would say that if you do want to go the officer route only, talk to all the branches, right? Talk to their officer selection officers, right? There's a separate officer recruiter. Talk to them, let them know what your goals are, and have a conversation and see which one has the best opportunities. Don't do it for the money, right? For real, don't. If enough branches like I'll give you money to do it, steer clear. But just figure out what type of job you want to do, and figure out which one just aligns with what you care about most. I mean, if you ask the best Marines, go be a Marine officer. You'll have the best time for sure. But not everyone wants to do that, which is fine. So talk to everyone and then find out what works best for you. Officers learn from NCOs. Absolutely. Yes, they do. You're not wrong at all. I've taught many officers and had the ability to work with many officers, in my career, and they learn from me, my other Marines, and whatnot, and it helps mold them into a really good officer or not, because the way the NCOs help mold them puts them on one of two paths, like a path to be a great officer, or the path to like resent enlisted because they screw them or something, and then they become like I don't want to say toxic, but they become a more, trying to think of the word, a more hard officer, if that makes sense. So I've seen it go both ways too, and yeah, it's interesting for sure. What enlist is most active for officers? It depends, right? It's just like enlisting. Jobs kind of come and go. Then sometimes they're like looking for more officers in like field A over field B. So um, it changes from fiscal year to fiscal year. I know that the aviation program is the most competitive and sought after, so that's gonna be the most difficult one. But most active, that's subjective because it's gonna change year after year, and it's gonna change throughout the year as well. Does the military allow officers to pick MOS or division? So you at TBS, which is the basic school, you will get a chance to have a wish list. But I found this out recently, actually. In TBS, they rank you. So basically, if you're in a class of like 100 officers, the number one officer who graduates top of the class, top GPA, gets his pick. I want aviation, guaranteed, right? The guy who's at the very bottom of the list, it's needs of the Marine Corps. Hey, we need you to go be a logistics officer. See ya. But from what I understand, it was like the top 10% get to choose what they want to do. And then the other 90%, it's just, based off availability. So if the better you are, the higher you rank in your GPA and performance, the more opportunities you're going to get to choose whatever uh, essentially MOS you want as an officer. And if you're the guy who just passes and you're at the bottom of the rung, they're going to put you wherever they want to put you. So the Marine Corps is a performance-based organization. So remember that. And everything you do is performance based, especially on the officer side. Their standards are much higher, and they are held to a higher standard than us on the enlisted side. Do all Marine Corps recruiters recruit active duty and reserves? Yeah, yep, we all. Yep, I recruit reservists. I recruit active duty. We recruit everybody. So let's see. So my first shot with a recruiter and was told no combat engineer reserve units were available. So there might not be any combat engineer jobs at one of your local reserve units, because not every reserve unit in your area is going to have every job spot available, because there's certain spots. So usually based off your geographic location in the US, there's reserve units around wherever it is you are. And usually they're like, hey, these are the jobs we have available. And then your RS will get X amount of reserve jobs that need to be filled. So they might be out, because right now I keep looking at my watch, but it's dead. I don't know why I keep looking at this thing. Right now it's June. The fiscal year ends in September, so we're at the tail end of the year. So if you're looking for a specific job in the reserves, you could wait till October and enlist then. But what I tell people too is I'm like, look, you can enlist and then you can always change jobs. I'm not saying it's super easy, but it's definitely possible. You can do a lap move. You can start reserves. You can lap move to something else. Like there's ways to move around. So don't just think that if you can't get it right now, that it's the end of the road. You could wait and see if it opens back up, or you can take something else and switch later on. But it's not BS. If your recruiter's telling you that, then it's true. Hey man, don't be saying any racist stuff in the chat. Come on now. I don't need that kind of nonsense on here. Let's see. Oh boy. Let's see. Am I police? No. I'm a recruiter. Who should I ask so I have a better chance of getting 0311? And if I want 0311, should then I then try to be average guy or someone above average? Don't be above average, man. You don't want to join the Marine Corps and be average. I'm telling you, like if you join the Marine Corps, you want to be the best top performer that you can be. Don't join the Marine Corps just to be like, I'm the average guy. We call him like the fly on the wall, right? Don't be the guy that's just can't even see. I can't even see my finger. Whatever. That just sits there and doesn't contribute. Be the best version of yourself that you can be, and keep growing and keep developing. Don't just settle, right? And don't be shittier to try and get like a lesser job. That doesn't work like that. I promise you that. So, um, yeah, be the best version of yourself, and your performance will speak for you, and your actions will speak for your performance, and it'll take you where it is you want to be. Uh, I follow your IG and YouTube videos. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna start putting out more long form videos now. I've had more time to kind of put out some more stuff. So I appreciate you supporting YouTube and Instagram. Go follow the TikTok too. TikTok's a little bit more strict on things. I post some things on TikTok that I post YouTube and Instagram, and sometimes TikTok they'll flag it. They don't like it. So yeah, but yeah, follow them all, please. Yeah, follow on all platforms. Hey, subscribe here. Join the chat, and yeah. What's your favorite Marine uniform? Okay, I like dress blue deltas, the ones we wear every day, the short sleeve khaki shirt and blue pants. I like that because it's comfortable. Dress blues look the best with a coat, but they're uncomfortable. So my favorite's the dress blues with the coat, But my favorite to wear is the Deltas. It's a short sleeve khaki shirt, blue pants, super comfortable, no tie, none of that stuff. So, can I research where family members were stationed or anything? I mean, not anywhere that's, maybe if it's like online publicly, but there's nothing like the military can do necessarily. You'd have to find like public records or like ancestry.com or maybe something like that. Let's see. Once you're active duty through boot camp, is there any way to change your MOS? Yeah. So when you're on active duty, after your first 2 years in the Marine Corps, you can change your MOS. It's called a lat move. You have to talk to your career planner, which is someone that works in your unit, and their job is to literally like, help you plan your career. It's literally like in the name. If you're interested in doing a lat move or switching jobs, you let them know. They're going to look at your ASVAB score to make sure you're qualified for that job. Because if you're not, you have to retake the ASVAB, which it's fine. People do it all the time. And if you are, they have to see how many boat spaces are available. Now, the term boat space just means how many of that job are available in that fiscal year. Because there's not an infinite amount of jobs. People think that there's a infinite jobs and everyone can be every job, and like there's a certain amount of spots. There might be 500 spots, and 490 might be filled, which means there's 10 left, or all 500 can be filled. And it's like, hey, this job is closed out for this fiscal year. You cannot, excuse me, switch jobs, and then until next year. So it is a lat move. You're good after 2 years that you can do that. So if that's something you're thinking about doing, talk to your career planner once you become a Marine and express that. But what I tell people though too is I hear this a lot. A lot of people when they want to switch jobs, they think that off the bat. But once they get through boot camp, they get through MCT or IMC, and they get to the fleet and they're doing their job, they end up actually liking it. And fewer Marines actually do a lat move. I mean, Marines do it, but it's less likely once you're doing the job because you're probably going to enjoy it. You're going to like your platoon, the Marines you're with, and you're not going to want to leave most of the time. But if you do, that's how you'd go about doing it. Let's see. How long have I been in? I'll be in 17 years on July 21st. So, yeah, yeah. Almost 17 years, crazy too, because I was going to be like, hey, I'm staying for 4 years. I'm getting out, doing something else. And yeah, here I am. So, in some cases, or MOS is there a bonus for, yeah, if you're initially enlisting, right? Bonuses do exist, but just like jobs, there's only so many bonuses. So when the bonuses are gone, they're gone. But if their bonuses are available, ask your recruiter, hey man, is there any bonuses? Can I get a bonus? They might say your bonus is being a Marine. That's what mine told me. And I was like, this motherfucker. But there are actual cash bonuses. Some jobs have bonus. Some jobs, like specific MOSs, will have a bonus, like an enlistment bonus. Sometimes there's a shipping bonus. So if you ship earlier than you're expected to, and you help out your recruiter, sometimes they'll give you a bonus if they're available. And then sometimes there's just like a any skill bonus, which means this bonus can be applied to any MOS. So you either have the specific MOS, like cyber crypto, have a bonus. They all don't get bonuses, but there's one tied to that job. There's one tied to comm electronics maintenance. There's a bonus tied to like Intel. So like more jobs that are a little bit harder to fill. There's usually incentive bonuses with those. Again, they're not always available, but those jobs specifically have bonuses. There's an any skill bonus, which means any job can qualify for it. There's shipping bonuses. There's also bonuses if you extend your contract, which I'll be honest, I don't recommend. So if you're on a 4 year contract, right, and you enlist for an extra year to make it 5, they're like, hey, we'll give you $10,000. Do I think it's worth it? No, but some people do. And there's one that if you enlist for 2 extra years, so for 6 years, that will give you $15,000. Some people are like, that's great. And some people are like, no, I never push those specifically because I'm like, do your 4 or 5 years. And then if you want to stay in, you'll stay in, but don't add 1, 2, or 3 years on your contract starting out for like 10, 15 grand and then end up being like, man, I really shouldn't have done that. If you want to stay in, just re-enlist. You'll get a re-enlistment bonus if they're available. And if not, then you'll be all right. But I tell people, I'm like, don't enlist for the money. Um, Enlist because you want to be a Marine or a soldier or a sailor or whatever. Okay. The money, it comes, right? Money is like part of it, but don't just do it for the money. Let's see. Is America going to war with Iran? I don't know. Hard to tell. I'm not sure, but it's looking kind of tense right now. Looks kind of tense online right now. There's some things going on, so we'll see. But I think right now they said that the president is giving Iran 2 weeks. He's taking 2 weeks to consider whatever he's going to do. So I guess we'll find out shortly. But yeah, I don't know. It's not. It's looking kind of iffy right now. Looking kind of iffy. Do people in the military do tech work only? No, but there are jobs that are associated with technology that Marines can do, but not every Marine does it. I'm 15, but I want to go early to a recruiter's office just in case I need a waiver. So you can't right now. You being 15, you can't even go. You can't even go start the process at all. Know if you need a waiver or anything like that. You can do that until you're 17, and then when you're 17, you need parental consent to be able to start the process with a recruiter. So the only thing you could do is, go by the office and maybe talk, ask a question, but they can't do anything formal with you at all because you're only 15. So I would wait till you're 17 and then talk with a recruiter. Do that at the end of your junior year, and then if you need anything, they'll start the process. So you have your entire senior year to get it figured out. Favorite? Oh man, pizza sounds so good right now. Oh my god, man. I was gonna say I wish someone would order me a pizza right now, but that would require me to give out my address, and I can't do that. Actually, you know what? Let's use the power of social media. What? There's not 100 people watching right now. If everyone donated $1 right now, I could go and get myself a pizza. Now I don't need it, but I'm just curious if people would actually do that and get myself a barbecue chicken pizza. That sounds really good right now. Can I join if I had eye surgery? It depends on how bad. It depends. Like when I think eye surgery, is it like removed, right? Is you have like a scratch and they fixed it? Can you see? Are you blind? Like there's a couple different questions that you'd have to elaborate on to even find out if that's an option. Oh man, hell yeah. We're 3.99 closer to a pizza. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Do I plan on doing streams often? Yeah, I do. I do want to get into streaming a little bit more often. And it's where I'm at right now at this hotel. It's real easy because I have a light set up right here. I got some light set up behind me. I'm on an actual desk. Like this is a desk, and when I'm at home, I have my extra office. Right, is my daughter's room now. So right now, I film all my videos in my garage. So yeah, so it's hard because I don't have a desk. It's a little bit harder to stream, and I do it in the morning. So I make videos in the morning. I get up early before I go to work. I do my videos then, so that by the time I'm at work, I can kind of post them throughout the day. So it's streaming. In a more formal setting like this, like how I'm doing it right now. I love to, especially on YouTube. I've increased followers so much in the last week, which has been great. So I want to keep doing this. I just got to find a way to make it like part of a routine, and just kind of keep it consistent. So, but yeah, that's the plan. I really do. Hell yeah. Appreciate it, guys. For the pizza. Yes. Barbecue, man. See, barbecue chicken pizza is dope. Is delicious. It is delicious. Hell yeah. Please say, nice. Yeah, Larry. Nah, you thought so. Come on, man. You think this is my first time seeing this? You think I'm 7 years old right now? Yeah, nice try though. If I wasn't paying attention, I may have said it, but nah, you tried to get me. Not right now. Hold on. Do you like dipping your pizza in sauces, ranch? Yeah, it depends, man. It depends on the pizza. Sometimes I do some ranch. I like buffalo sauce too. Yeah, obviously not on a barbecue chicken. I'm not gonna put buffalo sauce on a barbecue chicken. But if I made like a pepperoni pizza, right, or like a supreme pizza, drizzle some some buffalo sauce on top. That is good. Or a little bit of buffalo, drizzle it on the pizza, and then get a cup of ranch, dip it in the ranch. That right there, that is chef's kiss. That's good stuff right there. Thoughts on Israel and Iran, man? I think it's crazy. I usually don't talk a lot about like geopolitics and things that are going on in the world, but I've been following that stuff so closely lately because Israel is an ally of ours. And the U.S. is already, they're kind of saying, again, this is just news, right? I'm just kind of regurgitating, but hey, if things happen, the U.S. is going to kind of jump in and defend Israel. So it can get real dicey real quick. So I'm curious to see how this is going to play out for sure. But yeah, it's getting a little heated over in the Middle East right now, for sure. So they tightened one of my eye muscles. I mean, for the guy who's talking about enlisting with his eye, it depends, man. I'm not a doctor, so I can't speak on it exactly. But if you can still see and your eyes are fine and it doesn't bother you, you should be able to get a waiver and you should be fine, right? Should be, because I've seen guys who had eye issues, a lot of astigmatism, a lot of like cornea issues that ran waivers that are fine now. So as long as it doesn't keep you from actually seeing properly, then you should be fine. And I hope it works out for you too. I really do. Let's see. Is it possible to be underweight? Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot. So it's funny because in the Marine Corps, right, you have like your height and weight chart. You can be 5% over your max weight to enlist, and they can run a waiver for that. And then you can also be 7% underweight, and they can run a waiver for that too. So if you're, if your lowest weight is 130 pounds, you can technically enlist with a waiver at 123 pounds, and they'll let it fly. Typically, you don't see too many underweight waivers because the guys we have that are a little underweight, I'm like, hey man, before you go to MEPS, get 3 of these and chug them. Because a gallon of water is 7 pounds. Just eat everything. And it's funny because the guys who are skinny, I'm like, dude, stuff your face. Go eat anything you can. And the guys who are a little towards their max, I'm like, hey man, don't eat anything right now. I need you to drink water only, and then use the bathroom before you go get on the scale. So, um, but yeah, you can definitely be underweight, but I would try to get above weight first, just drinking water, eating and whatnot. But as long as you're not like 20 pounds underweight, you're fine. If it's within like 5 or 8 pounds, 5 to 6 pounds, you should be okay. Thank you, man. Support the branch and keep the faith. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Let's see. Uh, What do you think about the Marines being sent to California? Man, so I posted some videos on this too. I'll be honest. A lot of people were upset about the Marines going to LA, but I think there was a big misconception. And again, this is just, in opinion, this is just my thoughts. I'm not there, so I just see what I see. But the Marines were sent there because they're guarding federal personnel and federal property. Now, the National Guard is there too, right? And that's more of like their wheelhouse. But apparently, it was getting so bad, and I posted some videos on my Instagram that were showing like just the riots and stuff that were going on that overwhelmed the LAPD and everyone else. So they made a choice to send the Marines out there. Now, do I think the Marines are necessarily needed in LA? No, I don't think they're needed, but it's more, in my opinion, right? It's like a show of force when you see Marines when riot stuff in front of a building. You're like, maybe I shouldn't do that, right? The Marines are not gonna retaliate, right? They have riot gear. They've been trained right there, and they've been trained in like non-lethal stuff. But I do think it was interesting for the Marines because National Guard, they go everywhere. They've seen National Guard, all over the place all the time. That's very common. Um, but you know that when the Marines get sent in, it's not just for nothing. Like something really bad is going on, or the situation's like worse than what's being portrayed for them to be there. So I think it's interesting. I don't, I'm not against it. As a Marine, as long as the Marines are doing what they're supposed to, which they are, right? They have very tight, you know, rules of engagement and like things they have to follow. I think that, they're going to be there for a little bit longer. Then they'll probably, make their way back to Camp Pendleton or 29 Palms and whatnot. But the last time I checked, they're going to be there for it looked like 60 days. So we'll see. Hopefully, things kind of simmer down. But yesterday in Portland, right, last night, Portland got crazy. They were shooting lasers and fireworks and attacking the ICE agents and the police officers that were in front of federal buildings in Portland. So I'm like, hey man, it's like it's migrating slowly. Now I would be surprised if the National Guard shows up there, like they did in Texas and in Chicago too. But we'll see. I'm in the middle of my junior year. I'll be 17. Application for college must be done in the middle of senior year. I don't want to have the recruiter say I can't join and not be able to go to college. So I would, that's a good question. I would apply if you want to go to college, if that's something that's important to you, just know you can do that through the military, right? That is an option. But if you want to apply for colleges, man, apply for colleges and then you can always get a college acceptance letter and not have to accept it, right? They're just saying we will take you, doesn't mean you must accept it. Do that, talk to a recruiter, right? And then once but what I would just be careful because what you don't want to do is talk to a recruiter, enlist, and then get a college acceptance letter and be like, I want to quit. I don't want to do it anymore. Because it's tough when you have people do that. So if that's your plan, make sure you articulate that to your recruiter so they know, right? It's not a bad thing. Hey, this is my plan. This is what I'm trying to do. You know, now if I get accepted to college, I don't want to be a Marine. Nah, that's like a slippery slope. But if it's like, hey, I do, right? And if you do get accepted to college, go reserves. Go be a full-time college student, be a reserve Marine, because that's the most flexible path to allow you to um, go to school and be a Marine. Can you go to school on active duty? For sure, right? And the Marine Corps will pay for it as well. But if you're trying to go to a specific school and do a specific thing, go reserves. That you get the best of both worlds, and it'll be the best route for you, in my opinion. As a recruiter with young kids that are trying to do this all the time, I always do that, and they're always grateful because they were able to go to school and be a Marine. And then when school's done, they can go, active duty Marine, full time Marine. And if they like the way the life is set up, they can just stay where they are, and it's a win win. So, let's see. Wait, oh man, the comments are jumping around. Let's see. Hold on. I asked a recruiter about combating your jobs for the reserves. It says there's no available. Is it BS? I saw on Google jobs open in October, and they might just be full right now. Yeah, that's what I told you earlier, right? So there's only so many jobs available every single year when it comes to reservists, right? Um, so when those reserve jobs, specific when they're gone, they're gone. Like that's like there is like a set number of specific jobs, and when they're gone, like they're gone. So if you want a specific job and they don't have it right now, then they're telling you they don't have it, right? They're not because it does that recruiter no good to say, yeah, I really have this job, but I'm gonna tell this kid I don't have it. Okay, so now he doesn't have it, but I still have this job that I need to fill, that I need someone to do. It doesn't make sense, right? The kids that want the jobs that we have, like, hey man, do the job. So if you really want that, you can wait, and sometimes waiting sucks, but if that's what you really want, then that's what I'd recommend. But most people, they can find a job that they also like, that's similar or different, that they're like, okay, it's not my number one, but I'm okay with this and I'm gonna do this. I'm fine with it, right? And if that's you, great. If it's not you, then wait till October and see if that job comes out. But keep in mind, not every single MOS comes out every single year. There could be a chance that in October that job is not available in your region. It's just it could be like that. So yeah, it's October. The new jobs came out, but that specific job might not be one of the jobs that's available. So also keep that in mind because it would suck to wait, till October, November, and then it's like we don't have that job, and you're like, what do you mean? So again, that's a possibility too. So just keep that in mind as well, so you don't get your hopes up. How come the number of people that participated in the protest recently were so high? No idea. Couldn't tell you about anything. Are the Marines involved with the Space Force? Nope. That's Air Force, Space Force. We don't have anything to do with those guys. And I've yet to meet someone in the Space Force too. Any of you guys in the Space Force? If you are, let me know. I'd love to meet someone in the Space Force just to find out what they actually do. Let's see. I heard you have to be in the Marines for a certain amount of time before you can start college. Is that true? No. So that's a great question. And you know what? Look at that. Got my little content book right here. I write down. I use this in an app called Notion, to where I can take notes and just write down ideas. And I get a lot of misconceptions all the time. So what I'm gonna do is, let's see, got a like little bunch of stuff I write down right here. Let's see, content ideas. Let's see where we at. Do I have to wait to go to college in the Marines? Have to wait to start college. Yeah, so to answer your question, it's no. You do not have to wait to start college in the Marine Corps. As soon as you get to your first duty station, which means you're out of your entry level training, which is boot camp, MCT, MOS school. Once you get to your first duty station, you can start college right away. Now, in the Navy, You cannot go to college during your first 3 years in the Navy. So that means if you start a 4 year contract, you cannot go to school because you must have at least 2 years left on contract. So the Navy, no. The Marine Corps, yes. Now, once you get to your first duty station, you have to go to a place called a Joint Education Center, and you got to take a class called College 101. It's where they teach you how to use tuition assistance, which is how they pay for your college and whatnot. But you can absolutely start college once you get to the fleet. Let's see. For the reserves in my district, combat is unavailable. Combat engineer, that's a job because you got to think right now. The jobs come out in October. We're in about, let's just say, July right now. If there was any jobs, those things are gone. It's a first come first serve. So yeah, it's your recruiter's not lying. I'm telling you, they're not going to hold a job to not give it to you. It doesn't make any sense. Should I wait? Totally up to you. It's up to you. But again, like I told you, if you wait and they don't have the job, now what? Now you waited for no reason. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Take that into account as well. What's a popular enlist that's always taken? Crash fire rescue, which is the equivalent of a firefighter in the Marine Corps. That one's always taken. Um, Aviation jobs, right? Air crew, that job's always taken. Aircraft mechanic, that's a super popular one. Anything aviation is very desirable. Those are usually the first ones to go. Plus crash fire rescue. Those are gonna be your like top 3, 4 jobs that are gone just like that. So if you want an aviation job or something like that, you definitely need to be available in October when the new jobs come out and request that job ASAP. Because when they're gone, they're gone. Let's see. What ASVAB score do I need to be the engineer for a combat engineer? I don't know off the top of my head. I don't have my work computer with me right now. I need to put that on my iPad. I don't have it on me right now, so I can't tell you, but I don't think it's anything crazy. I think combat engineer, you might need I don't even know. It's nothing crazy though. It's nothing that's not attainable. But when I get on live next time, I'll try to have the job list available so I can actually look it up for you and let you know. But I don't know right now. How do you tell your barber to cut your hair? It's fly with my hair like that. Yeah, I've been getting my hair cut like this for a long time. I just tell them to do finger length top, so they finger length. And then I do a low fade on the side. But right now I have a barber that I don't know that's been cutting my hair, so she doesn't cut it like my normal barber does. But I do a low drop fade and then finger length on the top. And I tell him like, hey, I comb my hair to the side. So I'm like, as long as I can still do that, then that's what I'm trying to do. So, but I have really thick hair. Like I have really thick, fluffy hair. So if you have thick, fluffy hair too, it'll work. But if you have thinner hair, it might not work out as much. But that's what I tell them. Pretty simple, nothing crazy. Let's see. The army recruiter told me that the army recruiter told me that only the army lets you do college immediately. Well, I'm the Marines, and I'm telling you that that's not true. And again, Army, I don't know what I got nothing against the Army, like personally, but the Army pisses me off because they always lie to these applicants about Marines. They're always like, you can't do this, you can't do that. And they come and talk to us, and I'm like, yes, you can. Like, look, right here. It says right here you can do this. Like, what are we talking about? I'm like, they're lying to you. Not all of them, right? Don't get it twisted, but um, yeah, I don't know why they do that. They try to like dissuade people from joining the Marine Corps because we're like the Army's biggest competition, and they'll tell a lot of these kids anything they want to hear to not join. And then some of them don't, but they talk to us, and I'm like, who told you that? I'm a recruiter, and I'm like, okay, well, there you go. But it's not true. You can start. How do I know? Because I did it. I went to college as soon as I got to the fleet. My first duty station back in the day, I went straight to college because I wanted to, and it's still like that now. So, how long on average does it take to get to the fleet? Let's see. Boot camp's 3 months. If you go non-infantry, MCT's a month, right? So that's 4 months, and then it depends on your MLS school, right? So MLS schools can range from a month to a year. So I'd say most MLS schools are like 3 or 4 months. So let's say 7, 8 months is probably on average when you get to the fleet from the time you go to boot camp. I'd say 7 or 8 months from then. Some are longer. Aviation jobs, you're in school for a longer time, so you're probably at the year mark. If you're in like Intel or cyber crypto, things like that, it's longer. If you're in like administration, supply, um, jobs like that, you'll get to the fleet a lot faster because that MLS school is a lot shorter than some of the more complicated jobs. Let's see. What movie depicts real Marine Corps conditions? I don't even know, but a good movie to watch is Full Metal Jacket. That's just a good movie. I mean, to be honest, like I don't know any movies that depict like real Marine Corps conditions, but if you go on YouTube, there's plenty of videos out there, and like documentaries that show you how it really is in the Marine Corps. So I would definitely check out those to get like a more like modern day today realistic um, expectation of what the Marine Corps is. How hard is MSG school? I don't know how hard it is because I've never been, but it's a difficult school, and difficult doesn't mean hard. Difficult, right? So like hard would be like infantry is hard. Okay, that's a hard school, very demanding, very intense. MSG school is more difficult because you're learning a lot of things. You're learning a lot of weapons. You're learning a lot of like procedures, a lot of tactics, a lot of things that you need to do to be able to perform your job well overseas and at an embassy where the rules and things are a little bit different than they are here. So it's difficult. It's not hard, but I mean, I've known guys that have gone and like, it's not like the attrition rate's super high, right? I mean, if you go there and do what you need to do, you're going to pass. If you do stupid stuff, you don't study and whatnot, you're not. So that's up to you. But it's not super hard compared to other jobs in the Marines. What Marines depot did you go to and what season? So I went to boot camp at Paris Island, South Carolina, July 21st, 2008. It was hot as hell, and those sand fleas were they were hungry. It was tough. It was super hot out there. Um, so yeah, boot camp is 13 weeks. Boot camp is 13 weeks. Um, no, I'm a Marine, not a soldier. Boot camp is 13 weeks, and Paris Island in the summer sucks. San Diego's not bad 'cause it's a lot cooler down there because you're right by the water. But on Paris Island in the summertime, that heat and that humidity, the humidity is tough. I don't miss that at all. And it's crazy because right now I'm in Virginia, and I've been in Cali for like the last 10 plus years. Even though I grew up on the East Coast, but I forgot how bad the humidity is out here. It's been like 90 degrees and like 90% humidity every day. It's been raining and it's just been absolutely just ridiculous outside. Like, this humidity has been tough. And yeah, I don't miss it at all. Yes, boot camp is 13 weeks. That is. Don't listen to this guy. Be a grunt. You get great treatment. You'll be good friends with all of your seniors. That's right. I lied. Totally right. Listen to this stranger and tell you how much fun you're going to have as a grunt and your seniors. Yeah. You can take my advice or you can take a stranger's advice. Pick one. The choice is yours. The choice is yours. But let me know how it goes. Let me know how it goes. How's the winter in Paris on? I don't know. I wasn't there in the wintertime, but it gets cold on the East Coast though. It gets cold out there. It's hot in the summer and it's cold in the wintertime for sure. I don't live on the East Coast. Oh, if you live on the East Coast, can you go to boot camp in San Diego? Typically no. So the only time, well, it depends, right? So you can do what's called a legacy request if you had a parent that went to boot camp. So like I'm in San Diego, we have a lot of kids whose parents went to boot camp in Paris Island. So what they want to do is they want to go to Paris Island as well because mom or dad, or someone in their family graduated boot camp there and they want to follow in their footsteps. So we can do that as recruiters. They're called legacy requests. And we submit them about a month out. And I've submitted probably 10 since I've been a recruiter and they've all gotten approved. So it's pretty common. And I assume it's the same, probably going from, East Coast to West Coast, but you have to have your recruiter submit what's called a legacy request before you ship the boot camp and make sure that they know that that's what you want to do. Now, if you just want to do it just to do it, they're probably not going to entertain it. There has to be a reason behind it. But if you have a family member or parent that went to San Diego and you want to go there too, they should be able to do it. It's not a hard process. I got out of the Marine Corps and switched to the Army. I wish I could switch back. Okay, Gerald, why? I really want to know why because I know a lot of people that get out of the Army or get out of the Marines and they go other branches. They usually enjoy it, right? Because it's usually a lot easier and there's nothing wrong with that. But I've yet to meet someone who's like, I want to come back. So if you're still on, Gerald Nobles, the guy who switched from Marines to the Army, let me know why you want to come back. Is 27 too late to join? Nope. We enlisted a guy not too long ago. He was 33 years old, enlisted. So if you're 27, man, you're fine. What happens after boot camp? It's funny. I made a YouTube video. Right, you're on YouTube right now. There's a whole video of what happens after boot camp that I highly suggest that you watch and like, of course. Um, but if you're non-infantry, you go to MCT. for a month, and then you go to your MOS school, and then you go to the fleet. And then if you're infantry, you go from boot camp straight to IMC, which is at the School of Infantry, and that is your MOS school. And then you do that, and from there you then go to the fleet. But I broke it down a little bit more in that video. If you're interested in like specifics, there's a video of literally the title is "What Happens After Marine Corps Boot Camp." So check it out if you're interested. Take the advice from the Marine who just got like $20 for a pizza. I got $13.26 for the pizza, and I appreciate everyone who donated. Thank you guys. I'm gonna get myself a pizza after this for sure. Or you know what? If the pizza place is closed, I'm gonna walk and go to Wendy's or Taco Bell. Ooh, there's Wendy's and Taco Bell right down the street. Which one? Wendy's or Taco Bell? Because I like chicken sandwiches and I like Mexican food too. So, what do you guys think? Because I don't know if a pizza place is still open right now or if they're gonna actually deliver to this hotel. Because, yeah. Let's see. Winter is light at Paris Island. We got 6 inches of snow, 6 inches of snow at Paris Island. That's crazy. Damn. Man, everyone at Maps told me they should have chosen the Marines, but it's crazy. You know what's crazy though is people talk about choosing the Marines, but they're too scared to talk to a recruiter. They're too scared to talk to a recruiter because it's hard, it's difficult, all this stuff. So yeah, and then they have regrets later on because the branch they joined wasn't what they thought. Sala, thank you very much. Get some wings, okay, okay, okay. That sounds good. Taco Bell over Wendy's. Hmm. Do you want to? Do you want to shit water for 2 days or get a burger? Fair enough. Fair enough. Can I subscribe? Absolutely. Subscribe. Highly recommended. Taco Bell, because the founder of Taco Bell was a Marine. So do I want to shit for 2 days or get a I don't know, man. Hey, FedEx was a Marine too, right? But you would think that if, a Marine made Taco Bell, you'd make it a little bit, a little better. But hey, I can do 3 pull-ups. How lucky is for me to go to boot camp soon. If you could do 3 actual pull-ups and you can pass the run and the plank, you can go to boot camp as soon as your a spot's open for you to go. It's the guys that aren't physically fit that cannot go because they're physically not ready, whether a spot's open or not. So if you're already good and a spot's open, then obviously if you're a poolee, talk to your recruiter. If you're an applicant, start the process now and you can be able to go as soon as the spot opens up for you. The Marine Corps, good time. It is, man. I love the Marines. Marine Corps is a really good time. It's fun. I have a great time. I get to do stuff like this. I get to travel, done some really cool stuff, and it shapes me into the person I am today, which is awesome. So, highly recommend it. Let's see. Any tips for passing the run? I'm fit, but just suck at running. Yeah, run more. I know that sounds crazy, but run more often and mix up sprinting, like short distance running slash sprinting, and then long distance running. So when you run 3+ miles because you're gonna run 3+ miles in boot camp, and as a Marine for your PFT, but then you start doing sprints and shorter runs so you can work on acceleration and your anaerobic capacity. So a lot of people they're just like, I run a mile and a half all the time. I'm like, yeah, but you get really good at running a mile and a half, but you're slow. Run longer, run slower, mix it up, and that's a good way to help decrease your runtime and make you a little bit faster too. My MOS now, I'm an 8412 career recruiter. Before I lap moved, I was a 0627 satellite communications Marine. Then I was a transmissions chief, which is like the staff NCO level of the communications field. And now I am a career recruiter, which I'll be doing for the rest of my time in the Marine Corps. So only did 4, got out 10 years ago. I'd be 6 years from retirement. Yeah, right now I'm 3 years from retirement. So yep, that was one of my thoughts. Once upon a time when I thought about getting out too. So, what gifts or clothing do you get once you become a poolee, or do you receive them at MEPS? So yeah, so good question. So at MEPS, your MEPS liaison with the Marine that works down there. Once you enlist, right, you do your oath of enlistment, hold up your right hand. When you come back to their office, they're going to give you a red poolee shirt. So you should always get them at MEPS. Sometimes MEPS won't have them for whatever reason; they run out supplies and whatnot. And if they don't, your recruiter should have some at the office. So before we had them at the office, we used to give it to the applicants or the poolies when they got back. But then we realized, like, why not give it to MEPS and have them handed out while they're there? So here in San Diego, the MEPS gives the pulleys the shirts there, but I've seen in other areas the recruiter gives the pulley the shirt, which is cool too, because like that's your recruiter, so that's kind of like means a little bit more in a sense. But if you don't get it from MEPS, you'll get it from your recruiter for sure. IST was 1140. Okay. 228 playing 8 pull-ups. Not bad, right? Solid, right? Solid run. 1140 is not bad. You have up to 1330, so that's good. 228 plank. Okay, great. 345 is the max. So you got some work to do, but that's respectable, right? It's not bad at all. 8 pull-ups, a great start. So as an IST, that's a pretty solid IST. Keep working on your pull-ups. Get the plank up too, because you don't want to lose a lot of points on your PFT for the plank. You want to max out your pull-ups, max out your plank, right? Or at least max out one of those to give you the most amount of points when you do your actual PFT. I would love to switch back to the Marine Corps because the standards and discipline are upheld for more. Also, the Marine Corps is more of a family. Army feels like a 9 to 5. Okay. So I'd be interested to talk to you more about that because obviously, every branch has their pros and cons, right? I'm not naive. Like, I know the Marine Corps, we're the best, just so I'm clear. But we all have our pros and cons, right? Um, but it's interesting to see people who are like, yeah, I left the Marines for another branch, and now I want to come back. And I know the discipline's different in the Army, right? They do things differently, but it's interesting to actually hear that. So let's see. Was there a time I wanted to join MARSOC? Yeah, yeah, there was back in 2012. Yeah, I actually did want to do MARSOC back then, and I actually went to the screener. Right, I passed the screener ANS, and I actually went to ITC, which is the individual training course, which is like the formal MOS producing school, and I made it probably like 2/3 of the way through. Then I had some unexpected life changes back then, and I left. I was like, "Hey, I can't do this right now. This is just not for me." And I ended up leaving and never actually finishing the school. Yeah, so yeah, I did think about doing MARSOC. I actually tried doing MARSOC. I trained my ass off for MARSOC, for swimming, pool, the whole nine. It was hard as hell. Great journey. It was a great a great opportunity that I did. And I always wondered after the fact, like, hey, you know, what would have happened if I would have like stayed and whatever if what happened if what had happened didn't happen and I would have completed it, like where I would have been now, whatnot. Who knows? I thought about that a lot, but yeah, there was a time where that was something that I really wanted to do and I was on the path of doing and would have made it because I did everything that I needed to do and it just life had other let's just say life had other plans for me then. And I was upset for a long time, but now I'm like, it got me to where I'm now, and I'm grateful. God is good. He had a different plan for me, and here I am today. So it's uh, it's crazy how the path, right, which is so crazy because it plays in the video I made today. My plan was this, and it didn't work out, and it led me somewhere else, and that was my plan, and it didn't work out, and here I am now. So yeah, crazy, right? Do you get issued desert camouflage? Now I don't even know to be honest. Who's a new Marine here? Do you guys get issued? I assume you get issued deserts because that's part of the uniform. But I did when I enlisted. Now, since we're in Greens, I would assume you get at least one. I would assume you get at least probably one blouse, one trouser, at a minimum. But I actually don't know. If I was guessing, I'd say yeah, one pair. Um, but I could be mistaken. Oh, let's see. Marine Corps is more of a way of life. Yeah, I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Let's see. I got qualified for BY electronic maintenance any second hand. So, okay, that's actually a good job because when I was in the com field, you guys were the ones who would fix the stuff I would break. Okay. So, great job. You have to have a really high electrical score to get that job, or I think it's a 115. That's like one of the highest line scores to get that job. So, smart guy. I think it's a great job because what's cool is you get to fix stuff, right? I'm assuming you like to work with your hands and fix things because that's what that job does. But you get to know my old job, which was satellite communications. You get to learn how to set up, operate, and fix my old equipment. And same for radios, same for the computers too. So anything that's in the communications field that breaks, big and small, right? You get to learn how to operate and use the equipment and also fix it too, which is a great skill. great skill. Because I was always kind of like not jealous, but I was like envious, like, damn, these guys, they know my job just as well as I do, but now they can actually take this stuff apart and fix it. Because I like to like, take stuff apart, tinker with it, fix it and stuff. And these guys got a chance to do that too, which was really cool. But that's a great job. And sometimes there's a bonus associated with that job too. So I would ask your recruiter, hey, is there any BY bonuses for this job? Because we got one guy, I want to say it was $15,000 bonus for that job specifically. It was for that specific job, but there was a $15,000 bonus he got. Had no idea, and it was just like a last minute bonus. And I was like, "Hey, man, congrats! Don't fail boot camp or you don't get it." And he made it, and you know, yeah, yeah, he's doing it now, and he enjoys it too. So cool, man. Hey, you're welcome, man. I'm glad I could be helpful tonight. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming out, man. Yep, for the pulley shirt, you just get one shirt, right? And for PT, you wash it, wear it for PT, wash it. They're not gonna give you more than one. They're gonna give you just one shirt. So I don't have a pull-up bar. How do I practice? Find a tree branch. I've done pull-ups on a tree branch. Find a pipe. Find or that's some extreme stuff. Buy some the door pull-up bar. I got one at home. I have like a gym with an actual pull-up bar, but at my actual house, I went on Amazon, $20, the little one that goes in the door jamb, and I do pull-ups there. It's not the best, but it's something, and something's better than nothing. So go spend $20 right on Amazon, or go to Marshalls or TJ Maxx or Walmart, right? Get one for like 10, 10, 15 bucks. Put it in your door and start doing pull-ups. I'm currently a pulley and recently got promoted to PFC for getting two referrals. Hell yeah, yes. See, you help your recruiter, and now your recruiter's helping you. Is it possible to graduate boot camp as a Lance Corporal? Only if you graduate as the honor grad, which is the number one recruit out of all of boot camp, which is very hard. It's possible, but less likely. But if you give your recruiter two more referrals after you graduate boot camp, you'll get Lance Corporal meritoriously, which I've had a few guys do in my office, and it's a massive, God, it's a huge jump start on everyone else. So I highly recommend you do that, um, because it's less likely that you're going to get it out of boot camp. So referrals is the easiest way to actually get it after you get out of boot camp, since you're already a PFC. July 22nd, any type of sneakers allowed for the initial IST? Yeah, so I think now you guys can wear any type of, like running shoes. Just make sure they're running shoes. Don't wear like Vans or something crazy. Get yourself a pair of like proper running shoes, and you can run the IST in that. You should be fine. Just don't do any stupid colors. Don't get like rainbow pink, hot pink, orange highlighter shoes. Get some like regular shoes, and you'll be all right. How comfortable are the boots issued to Marines? How long do they last? The ones you guys get issued are just like basic regular boots. I didn't like them, so I bought myself, back then they were Bates Lights. Those are good boots. But now they have the Danner Reckonings. I've had three pair of them, and they're awesome boots. They're a little pricey. They're 260, 270 bucks. They're expensive, but they're 100% worth it. Danner Reckonings, buy them. Buy yourself some good insoles too, and you'll be set up. The ones you get issued, they're okay, right? They'll get the job done, but it's like comparing like a BMW to like a Toyota Corolla. They both get the job done, right? But the BMW is a lot more comfortable, a lot nicer. It's a lot better. The Corolla is just going to kind of get you there doing the thing. So I didn't start investing in my feet until I got older in the Marine Corps, and I regretted it. I wish I would have not been cheap when I was a junior Marine, and I would have bought really nice boots then. Um, but I was being cheap. I didn't want to spend $200+ on boots because I thought it was expensive. And now I'm like, damn, I should have spent $200+ on boots. Uh, get yourself nice socks too, and a set of insoles, and you'll be good. Are they doing evening parades at 8 to 9? Yeah, they actually just did one on Tuesday. On Tuesday, they just did an evening parade, and I was gonna go, but the weather wasn't good, and I ended up not going. But they actually ended up clearing up, and they just did one a couple days ago, actually. Oh, let's see. Cody Alford would be proud of you nonetheless. I don't know why. I know he is, but I appreciate it. Well, would you happen to know if it's possible to find my way back to the Marine Corps after joining the Army and my IRR contract just expired? Yeah, so if your IRR contract expired, oh, my light died. Okay. Anyways, if your contract expired and you're now off contract, you can then go back to the Army. I mean, go back to the Marine Corps as a prior service, other service. Since you were a Marine before, you can go back as a prior service Marine as long as you're not on contract right now, and start a prior service enlistment. And as long as you meet the qualifications and everything, you should be fine. But it is definitely possible for sure. Can you join the military with ASD? I don't know what that is. I went through maps and passed my that, but I got declined for my mental health stuff over 10 years ago. So when it comes to mental health stuff, the biggest thing they want to know is if you had an issue in the past, are you good now? So a current mental health evaluation, a current exam, current stuff from like not like today, but like this month, recent. Because stuff that happened 10 years ago, yeah, it happened, it affected you. But if it doesn't affect you now and you're good now, bring in, get a mental health screening, get someone to evaluate you saying, hey, I had this, I no longer have it, or I had this and now I'm good. You're clear for military service. We do this all the time, and 90% of people who do that, they're good. Obviously, there's like extreme cases with like some rare things that are just non-waiverable, but for the most part, mental health, we run waivers all the time, and as long as the waivers structured properly and you get proper documentation from your doctor, right? A doctor, not a don't go to a what are those like urgent care, right? Don't go to urgent care. Go to an actual doctor or an actual like MD or an actual psychiatrist, right? An actual counselor, someone to give you an actual evaluation, and you should be okay. So hopefully that helps out too, because I hear this all the time, and um, a lot of people, they don't really have good direction of what to do. So if you do that, you should be good. Can you join the reserves out of OCS or do you have to go active? You can be a reserve officer. Rob Riggle, who is a comedian, right? I'm sure you guys know him from Step Brothers and a few other movies. He is actually a lieutenant colonel in the Marine Corps Reserves right now, if you didn't know that. So, fun fact. But yeah, he's been a reserve officer his entire time. I got a PFC contract by college credits. Okay. How many referrals for Lance? Two. Bring your recruiter two referrals. Right after boot camp, you'll get Lance. You can't get it before. You can't pin on Lance before boot camp without earning it at boot camp by being the honor grad. You can only get it after boot camp meritoriously by bringing your recruiter more referrals. So let's see. Can you make a video on the boots you recommend? I can, but I'll see if I can do it now. I'll make a note because I have the actual boots back at home. I don't have them here now, but let's see. Boots. I'll do plus insoles. Yeah, I'll add it to the list. I'll see if I can make one that's decent without having the actual boot in front of me. But yeah, I'll see what I can do. All right, I got a couple more questions. I got to hop off. I've been on here for about an hour and a half, which has been great. This has been constantly over 100 people, up to like 300 people at some time. So it's been a very engaging and great conversation. I appreciate you guys coming out here and keeping the conversation going. And I liked how we kind of got off not just military, we kind of bounced around with a couple other topics too. I think that was really good. It kind of kept the conversation going and not just like 100% military focus. So that was nice. Let's see if I can answer a couple more questions before I hop out of here. Let's see. Um, 5811, 5812, no. So 5811 is your military police, and 5812 is your military canine handler. So they're the ones that work with dogs. They're dog handlers, and 5811 is going to be just your traditional military police. What's up? I'm an 0631 corporal in Camp Pendleton. Okay, networker. I was recruited out of Fredericksburg, Maryland. I want to go recruiting back there for an SDA. Any tips? Yeah. So when you're up for reenlistment, put in a by name request to the sergeant major of RS, whatever Fredericks, whatever RS is in charge of Fredericks, Maryland, and put in a by name request that, hey, I was recruited out of this area. I live in the area. I want to come back on recruiting duty, etc. And then what he or she can do is they can, out of BRC, basic recruiters course, they can request you personally or by name and pull you back over to Maryland. So that's what I'd recommend if that's what you're trying to do, and I would volunteer for recruiting instead of getting voluntold for something else. Trust me. So let's see. Uh, yeah, good. Okay. Yeah, I'm not getting pizza. It's 10 o'clock right now. The pizza ain't happening. I know it's not happening. And you know what I just realized too? Taco Bell and Wendy's, the walk up, right, to go inside closes at 10 o'clock. Right now, it is 10 o'clock. That means I cannot walk into Wendy's right now or Taco Bell to get some food. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh man, I'm not gonna eat. I'm just gonna be on a water diet tonight. Actually, I think I got a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in my fridge, but that's crazy. All right, so check it out. Hey guys, I appreciate it tonight. This has been awesome. I'm gonna do the YouTube ones more often because they're a lot more interactive than TikTok. And again, it's not just straight military. So I'm gonna try and hop on again tomorrow. So if you guys wanna, hop back on tomorrow, I'll be here and I will take this $18.26 that you guys graciously donated, which I appreciate. And I want to buy myself something to eat. So appreciate that, guys. As always, this should be on YouTube. It should upload automatically as a new video. Um, but yeah, guys, thanks for coming out. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for the engagement, guys. Again, as always, I appreciate you. You guys are the real ones, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.